Welcome once again to the electronics shop here at the Keyboard Exchange International facility here in Sanford, Florida. I'd like to thank Zach, who's on camera today. Brian, did you know that Zach is a Full Sail graduate?
I do now.
He's been in California
impressed.
with his wife for the last couple of years and pursuing his dream to be in the industry of sound and all the things they teach there at Full Sail.
That's the way to do it.
I'm going to do another shout out to all the Full Sail graduates, the fellow alumni of Zach. And frankly, when Zach contacted us, it was the fact that he graduated from Full Sail that made me interested in wanting to interview him.
I could understand that.
So now that Zach is here, and you're going to see him in just a moment, we're going to switch places. I'll get on the camera and do my amateur hour camera work. But hey, I digress from the main point. This is the gentleman here that didn't make it into the first video when we were showing you around. And I tried to talk about the fine work you're doing here, but frankly, I don't know if I could do it justice to speak of how fine the work is that you do. And knowing you, I know that you could talk about yourself in much greater platitudes than I could.
Well, you are good with the platitudes. I appreciate that.
Folks, this is Mr. Brian Strong. He is a certified Hammond organ technician from the factory.
Yeah.
And he works with Rick McLean, who you met in a previous video. And they together, we're in a similar age category, you, Rick, and I.
Yeah. And
what we're trying to do is pass on the things we know to younger people, like Zach, like my son, like Randolph Carter, the world famous Randolph Carter. He's gotten pretty famous since he started working here.
He's the man.
Something like 400 videos he made, with Keyboard Exchange. But Brian, could you talk a little bit about the protocol involved? The stuff that you're going to be showing Zach, what you showed him today. We have a list somewhere of the various topics that need to be done for each instrument. And I would like to clarify, one of the main points I want to make today, I want to clarify. The other day we were in the showroom and I said, not everybody wants to pay for the finest furniture. I used, since you weren't here, since you were with your herbalist, getting all healthy on us, which I commend. I think that's wonderful.
Got to try harder now.
We have to. Yes, we have. And you should start when you're young, trying to be healthy, eating right, exercising, all that stuff.
All that.
But I made a point that not everybody, including myself, was willing to pay for the finest furniture. Those of us who just want to be playing a great Hammond organ, we might not care what it looks like. Like this B3 here, let's face it, this is kind of on the funky side. What you do need to have done, though, is make sure that there's a proper internal restoration. Qualified people like Brian and Rick and the rest of us here work as a team. The internal wiring is dry rotted. I think the technical explanation, well, I'd say all the time, if it's a B3 or C3, because they use rubber-coated wire. The modern version of that is vinyl-coated, which does not more or less petrify with age.
At the time, rubber was the material to use.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they used good stuff.
They used the best, I'm sure.
The best available at the time, but if technology has advanced, and now we have better materials.
And I'm sure that the factory people could not have anticipated that these organs were going to last lifetimes, literally. So it's Brian's job, along with the rest of the team here, to restore these instruments by replacing all those worn out parts. Now, when we replace the wire, you put a 3-prong plug, so the electrical connection can be grounded, and it's also fused. Now, these are things that were not done at the factory.
Right.
And these are all the things that we need to pass on to younger people like Zach And Zach, I would like for you to kind of step in and let people see your smiling face, and let Rick explain a few things about what he's going to be teaching you.
All right.
Here's Zach.
Hello. So, yeah, we've done some work today already.
We have?
Walk back here, and first thing was the felt replacement.
Yep, we replaced the pedal felts, which are primarily a dust cover that keeps dust from getting actually down into the pedal contacts, so they stay pristine, especially being, towards the floor that can get more dust and all that.
Right.
And that felt wears after time, and we've come up with a nice way to replace that. Very efficient. It was very, very sturdy. Probably more sturdy than the factory even.
Oh, those new felt pieces that we had manufactured?
That's correct.
We had to have the tooling made for that, and then we had to buy hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And
but it makes the job a lot easier because you have one strip that goes all the way across. It's already pre-patterned, so all you have to do is basically pop them on, roll it backwards onto itself, and pop on the other side of the holes. And then once that's all the way down, we can go ahead and lower the casing, which the expression pedal sits on.
That's right.
And that was another thing I had to replace as well today was the expression pedal. The old one was really worn out where the bearings are, and
bearings were frozen up. The pedal itself was worn out. The holes were wobbled out. This organ had really seen some tough times.
Yeah, it's seen better days.
well, that's part of the beauty, isn't it?
Absolutely.
These things can last forever almost
run
with some proper care. I'd like to interject here the fact that the pedal felts you installed today, Zach, do in fact keep dust from getting into the pedal contacts.
Yes.
But they also kind of insulate the metal pedal pusher from the metal contact switch. So when you play the pedals, you shouldn't have to hear a metal-to-metal clanking.
Yep.
And that would be an indication.
Keeps that quiet, yes.
Yeah, that would be an indication you need new felt. If you hear, every time you play a pedal, you hear a click, 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 click.
Yeah.
So the felt is very important.
Not wanted tonality is clicking.
That's right.
And then after that, we did the switch, which was a bit of a interesting challenge. We had taken the power switch out, and when we were putting the new actual toggle switch,
this is actually the start switch.
There's a little notch on the bottom piece that it's just barely there, but enough to where when you put the notch on, it has to fit the new notch. So the problem was they were all reversed, so the trigger would have been already in the on position. You had to pull it down.
The notch on the old switch plate did not match the groove on the new switch, which apparently were made reverse from 50 years ago. So we had to resort to filing off the notch, or the little nib there, and so that we could install the new switch with the proper orientation. But it should be good for another 50 years.
That's right. A little bit of soldering and conviction, and it got in there just fine.
Yep. So that's part of what we do, and that's part of the refurbished checkout sheet that we developed to ensure that we not miss any of the items that need to be done. I'll give you a little better close-up if you want. I'll let Zach hold it.
Oh, sure, I will. I got to learn it too myself.
Yeah.
So.
And one of the items is replace the start switch. It's up here, right here. We now have that checked off. And as you can see, there's many other items still yet to be done on this organ, but some have been done. So this is how we track it and make sure nothing gets overlooked or done twice. Don't need that either. And all the information about what's being done with this organ is kept on this sheet, and it travels with the organ throughout its lifetime at Keyboard Exchange International. And then when it's finally sold, this sheet goes into our files as part of the archival filing system that we maintain. And of course it shows our own internal reference number, the serial number, and model, etc.
And the year is 1957 when this organ was manufactured.
That's right.
That's over half a century old, and still going.
we were making the joke, this happens to be item 409, we're making the joke that since this is a road warrior and it's been spent a lot of time in smoke-filled clubs and things like that, we've used a lot of 409 type cleaner to clean this. So we decided that 409 is very appropriate to name this particular unit.
And actually, you actually look like Mr. Clean on the TV commercial.
Age is nothing but a number with these machines.
That's right.
At the end of the day, they will all play. And
As good as new, as close to new as we can possibly make them, and we're pretty good at that.
so I'm the apprentice here, and Brian, as well as all the rest of the team here, are definitely going to be teaching me everything that I need to know, and I'm going to be learning. And so far, so good. Everything's pretty fun, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff to work on. I was remarking to him earlier how I've always appreciated how the organs are built, internally and everything in such a way that they are serviceable. Everything's put together with good quality screws, and galvanized metal was used throughout, so it doesn't rust, too much. So it holds up well over time, and it's also very serviceable to put back into good shape as needed.
Okay, Zach, why don't we switch places again? When you check this video out, you'll see my zooming technique is needing some practice.
That's okay.
So Zach did mention that he is an apprentice here. And I would like to take this opportunity to kind of define the difference between an apprentice and an intern. Now, we've had a few interns work here, and we still have one. But the technical definition, and I don't know if you've studied up on this or not, but what I read is that an apprentice is someone who's dedicated to really learning a trade or a craft. And in this particular situation, we're asking Zach to learn to become a Hammond organ technician on these vintage instruments. Now, fortunately, we're able to provide him with the information, the training, and the on-hands type of experience. An apprenticeship generally lasts a good amount of time. Now, the definition of an intern is someone that might come by and stay a year or stay a semester or something like that to get some experience in the working world. Mm-hmm. What we're hoping, and this you need to know, is that Zach will pick this up so that these organs and people like Zach can be prepared to maintain these instruments that we sell long into the future. So your time spent with him is valuable for two things. You're working together, the work might go quicker by two people working at the same time, but we're also investing our time into Zach's future.
Sure.
Now, he has other skills. He's a videographer and uses a lot of skills that he learned at Full Sail. But to those of you who may have interest in maintaining these instruments, we would like to meet you, learn who you are, become friends with you, and maybe a few of you can also join our team. So Brian, without further ado, I think we'll say goodbye for the moment. I thank you for being here for this video today. We missed you on the first one while you were at your herbalist. You have final words to say?
The investment that we're putting into Zach's training and others that may follow after him, we might also consider it an investment in the future of the Hammond organ.
Absolutely.
In general.
Do you know?
So that they can be maintained and give pleasure to folks,
generations to come.
Generations to come.
A piece of trivia.
Yes.
The Hammond Organ Company manufactured tone wheel organs from 1935 until 1974. When I count up those decades, that comes out to 4 decades or 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Keyboard Exchange International has been around for 51 years.
Awesome.
I'm just saying. I love Jay Leno. When he says something that might insult somebody, he says,
Just saying.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just. How many years has Keyboard Exchange International been around? Oh, 51 years, but they only made tone wheel organs for how long?
40 years.
Oh yeah, did you heard that too?
I heard that.
Folks,
Luckily,
thanks.
they made lots of them.
They did. They
and
did.
we have lots of them to work on.
And we're trying to collect the best ones from all over the country. The trade-ins we get are going to be our most budget-friendly ones, instruments like this. But they won't all have this marvelous collection of scratches. You know, you pay extra for distressed furniture sometimes.
Oh, this is distressed for sure.
But it's all authentic. All the scratches
It is.
are authentic and
All
original.
real experience.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time and attention and your interest in watching this video. It's been a little longer than most, but there's a lot of information we're trying to share with Zach and the world, and with all of you out there. If you're seeing this and you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, which is my name, Jim Huss, Keyboard Exchange International, we'd very much you would subscribe, click on notify, watch some of the commercials from some wonderful companies that sponsor our channel, and comment. We'd love to hear from you. Please comment, and thanks again. God bless. Jim Huss, Brian Strong,
Peace.
Zach Cook signing off.